Dave Shaheen at Boston College. This is the Boston Pops at the Heights concert, and there are a number of people who are involved in the setup and actual execution of the program. A lot of technical people working behind the scenes. We'll talk to a few of them to get a better idea of what it is they do and how they do it.
Hi Javier, I'm Steve Colby. I'm the front of house sound engineer for the Boston Pops.
I'm Russ Coster. I'm the technical director for Boston Symphony.
Javier, my name is John Finn. I've been a teacher at Berklee College of Music for almost 30 years now. I've been the guitar player with Boston Pops Orchestra since back in 1997.
Hey there, I'm Dana Falloon. I'm an engineer working for the Pops. We're doing a gala show here at the Conte Forum. I'm actually doing a sub-mix of string mics and chorus and supplying it to the front house engineer. And that's kind of my duties for today other than stage work.
All right, I'm with Pam Smith. Pam, can you tell me a little bit about yourself? What is it you do?
I play lighting director, lighting designer, lighting programmer, video director, and video programmer for the Boston Pops.
As a performer, I've pretty much performed all over the world, and I've been really fortunate in my career. And I've actually had some experience doing both live mixing and recording studio mixing. And I can tell you that as careers, they're both very different animals that require different skill sets from you. But either way, I can tell you that I hope you pursue it because it's a blast. Really creatively satisfying, challenging. There's never a dull moment, I promise you that.
What exactly is a submix? In layman's terms.
A submix is, pardon me, submix is basically taking, let's say, up to 30 channels and bring them down into a left and right mix. So basically I'm mixing them down so I can send them away so the front of house console doesn't have to eat up a lot of channels, to use a lot of channels up front. So I'm pre-mixing for the front house engineer.
Okay. And can you tell me a little bit about the piece of equipment that you're using, the mixing board that you're using?
Okay. This is a Digico SD9, which is completely digital. It's basically a computer that you use to mix. Each one of these is an actual input channel, either a microphone or a direct channel. And I basically am taking these and running them through these 4 subgroups. So I don't know if you can see that, but this is the violins. So we have about, let's say, there's 20 violin microphones that I'm basically mixing into just a left and right output and sending it out to Steve at front house. Basically, this is the same thing as what's called an analog console. Just everything's all inside of this. So EQs, compression, effects are all inside this one console, smaller package.
Okay. And what are some of the skills that you need to do the job that you do?
I guess the beginning skills have to do with troubleshooting and signal flow. Are the most important things you can do. Figuring out if something goes wrong, how to find that problem and fix it is one of the biggest things that you need to do. All the way down from learning how to route a cable to correctly storing gear, the correct way to push gear, lift, things like that are very huge. And basically, listening is probably one of the biggest.
Good point. Yeah, you are mixing audio, right?
Yeah,
so you do want to be able to have a good ear.
Yeah, and learning from whoever you're working with.
Let's look at live mixing. Any great live sound engineer, when they're really doing their job well, you don't even sense that their presence. And the reason why you don't is because somebody like that has already gone through all of his or her gear and anticipated any potential problem that might come up and has taken care of that. So if they suspect that there might be a bad cable, they'll make sure that the cable's been fixed. If they're not familiar with how to deal with a particular gear, they'll read up with it. Maybe you practice it ahead of time with the performance. maybe experiment with it before they get to the live show, things like that. So, so thorough and really fast too. So if a problem comes up, they're able to solve the problem like so quickly that nobody even knows that there's a problem. And then, from there, the icing on the cake is being able to make the music sound good. Now, that's, as a mix engineer, that's the part that attracts everybody to it, because it's a powerful feeling to know that in front of you is all these gadgets that have all kinds of control over the way that the music's going to sound through the sound system. But to get to that point, there's a lot of steps that a good sound engineer has to take care of before they can get to that point to think of that. So, and all this stuff is happening on the fly. There's no second chances. You're just kind of in it doing the live show. Something else is very often if the sound doesn't sound good, too often the musician will blame the sound engineer when it's really not the sound engineer's fault at all. So there's a psychology element to it that requires that the sound engineer be pretty patient with the artists that they work with. While they hear people criticize the work, you're going to hear a lot of that, even if you're doing a great job. And I don't know what to tell you about that other than the best engineers I know are really patient.
This is the Grand MA 2 lighting console. I run all the lighting that is in this wonderful venue right now at Boston College. I can run conventionals, moving lights, media servers. I can also control lights and audio. There's actually an input on the back to take MIDI signal, which is an audio noise or an audio line, and I can program the lights to react to the audio signal that comes in as well. So I can make any color except black, because it's not really a color. It's no light on, and you can do whatever I want. Make things spin, move, pan, tilt, all that fun stuff. And then next to us we actually have a program feed, because we are shooting video as well. So I'm doing 2 roles at the same time at the moment. I'm designing for live and making it look nice for the eye and whoever's watching tonight at our concert, our customers, clients. And then I'm also having to pay attention to what it looks like on the camera, because it's being recorded. So it's a little harder to play both roles, because sometimes for camera, depending how they're irised, it's not bright enough for the eye, the naked eye sitting here watching.
So the needs that you have to keep in mind then, the needs of a camera and lighting for television, and also lighting for a live event, which really are 2 things. So.
Yeah. 2 different things. We have in the rig, there's a lot of LEDs, there's a lot of arc lights, which are lights that have to be told to lamp on, and they're a lot bluer and brighter. And then we have some tungsten fixtures, which are just incandescents, like your Source 4 Lecos and PARs that are in your theater that you have at the school. And a moving light lamp and a Leco are very different color temperatures. So we've been fighting with that, of trying to make them look the same, because the stage has a combo of both.
For students that are interested in working these kinds of events, particularly students interested in audio mixing, can you tell us a little about, through your experience, from your perspective, what are some of the things involved with audio mixing, and what are some of the skills that you need to be good at it?
Taking for granted that you know what you have to do, organization is extremely important. Communication is right up there with it. Organizing channel assignments. If you don't have a method that works, it will confuse everybody that needs to get the right thing out of the audio system. So organizing your work in advance is important. Like lists, channel assignments, programming digital consoles in advance, so when you walk in, you're basically programmed and plug in, and your board does what you need it to do. But then also having a good educated ear for what you want as a result, and being able to listen to people when an artist wants something a certain way, being able to interpret that through your indie work on the console, extremely important.
The recording studio side of it, the thing that's similar is the part where you have to be able to learn to work quickly and in between the cracks of what the artist needs. A lot of times the artist will come in believing that the recording studio engineer is going to compensate for all of the musician's weaknesses and anticipate them and be able to work around them. And in many cases, it's actually true. If you haven't already done this, look up a device called Auto-Tune, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You know, but again, a really great audio engineer, when they're really doing their job their best, what they're doing is they're recording the sounds that are coming in as cleanly and as accurately as possible into either a computer or a recording device or a tape recorder or anything that stores and plays back audio, and then be able to play it back in a way that serves the music being played. And you know, as you learn about recording, you learn that there's a lot of ways to do that. You know, to get into the studio side of it, there are tons of YouTube videos that you can watch that are good resources. I don't trust all of them, but many of them really good. There's some great books on learning how to record audio. Most of the recording software systems that are out there are designed to behave in much the same way that the old tape recorder systems used to work. So even if you studied the old tape recorder systems, that's going to instruct how to work the software equivalent of those devices, because the software equivalent of the devices are designed to work as closely as possible to the originals. So that's another good place to start, so that you really have a good understanding of what the recording software does, what the effects plugins sound like, how compressors work, how duckers work, how gates work, the different types of equalization, the different ways that microphones can behave, the different types of microphones, the different behavior patterns of the different type of microphones, you know, and the list just goes on and on and on. And again, what you want to be able to do is work all that gear in a way that's transparent to the artist.
Is this a kind of vocation that there's something you can learn in school that actually helps here, or do you have to learn it all on the job? What's the ratio like?
School is definitely a good foundation. I started in school doing recording, and then found out that I really enjoyed the live side of things rather than recording. There's benefits to knowing both. I consider myself a live person. There's a lot of people that do both, like Steve Colby from the Pops. He does both. But I just really like the hands-on, you have to get it to work now part of it.
And if what's the name of the company you work for?
MJ Audio.
I
work for many different companies.
Okay, and MJ is based out of?
Right out of Jamaica Plain.
Okay, so if a student's interested in learning a little bit from MJ, do they have some opportunities for interning or volunteering?
Absolutely. It's a great place to start. That's where I've started. I still work there. I work a ton of other places now, but it's definitely, that's where I've learned absolutely the most, is working for that company.
Really, good luck. I gotta stop now because there are people checking microphones as we speak. Bye!
Thanks, John.
Sure.